Good evening and welcome to my channel. Tonight we'll be continuing our story of The Hearts of Argyle Godfrey by Nicholas Leonard. Chapter 14. Ye bosom is endeared with all hearts, which I by lacking have supposed dead, and there reigns love and all love's loving parts, and all those friends which I thought were buried. How many a holy and obsequious tear has dear religious love stolen from my eye as interest of the dead, which now appear but things removed, which hidden in you lie. You are the grave where buried love does live, hung with the trophies of my lovers gone, who all their parts of me did to you did give, that do of many is yet now alone. Their images I loved, I view in you, and you, all they, has all the all of me. Sonnet 31 by Shakespeare. Read by Aurora Oleander. The next day I went into Pine Grove Cemetery with the intention of reburying my heart. It was a beautiful summer day. The skies were not just blue, but innocent, as if they never knew a violent storm. The monkish clouds were few and rambled on, ashamed to interrupt the summer sky. The only unsettling thing was how nice and fresh the lawn smelled, for it did not match my mood. The hole remained unfilled with cakey rim. In fact, the edges seemed to form a mouth, a hungry pair of jaws with roots for teeth. I held my vitric heart as if prepared to toss it back into the muddy mouth, and let the earth of Lynn consume my heart, and let the sluggish earth digest my heart. A breeze inspected my hair and left unimpressed, while I remained looking down at the little hole, my heart like some unique urn in my arm. I shuffled backwards, lip quivering. I had no one to hide my heart from but myself. All my latter anxieties were things of my own action, lying to Mary Keats, and disclosing my heart transplant surgery to my employer, which led to me lathering up a corporate jerk-up with yogurt, which led to me being let go. Was my heartlessness progressing? At least I felt the appropriately accompanying emotions to these events, but these were events of my own creation, my own heartless creation. I gulped. I was going to do it. Even though she was still a stranger, I was going to try to be good and go to the florist on Broadway Street and confess. Maybe she would understand. Maybe I would even go to Stop and Shop and request an audience with Yogurt Head so that I could apologize. This was why I did not rebury my heart that day. The drive from Pine Grove Cemetery to the florist wasn't a long drive at all, only taking about 5 minutes despite the Massachusetts drivers doing what they did best, which was to be absolutely horrible at driving. I parked on the curb of a residential street because I didn't want to park directly on Broadway Street, which was busy with traffic. I gulped, turned off my car, flashed a glance at my vitric heart in the passenger seat, and got out. The entrance of the florist was rustic and dark with wooden columns holding up the ceiling. All the sunlight did not belong in this part of the flower shop because this was where birthday cards, lawn gnomes, lawn flags, and plastic flamingos were on display, all in congregation with the cash register being their priest. "May I help you?" a short old woman with short, curling gray hair said from behind the counter. Hi, is Mary Keats here today?" The old woman's voice suddenly acquired a shrill passion. "Why, yes, she's tending the flowers out back. Go ahead." "Thank you, ma'am." I nodded and proceeded, walking out into the long and fat greenhouse behind the flower shop. It was populated with many rows of shelves, and the shelves housed pots upon pots of plants which were occasionally wearing pink and purple hoods. The atrium of the greenhouse was like a black rib cage with webs of glass between each rib. She was there enthralled in some kind of nursery to a plant while she had her back to me, but her tangerine hair was distinctive. "Mary Keats?" She turned around, a smile opening up her face the way it had before. "Argyle, how are you?" I tiptoed towards her, a part of me teetering between limping or walking normally. She seemed so much to be a victim of her own beauty, and it made me feel guilty for finding her beautiful, and even worse for having lied to her. But was I about to prolong the lie or execute it for its wrongdoing? I'm good. This was another lie. And you? What are you doing back here? Oh, I'm very good. I've been going around gently lifting each plant out of the pot, she said, then doing so, wrapping her fingers around the chief stem of something that yielded purple flowers, and lifted it very gently to examine its cylindrical underbelly of soil, which was wrinkled with roots. She put the plant in its entirety back into its pot. Why are you doing that? I asked, to which she answered while doing the same with the next plant. I do this to check the roots and soil. Mrs. Little likes to make sure we only sell the healthiest of plants. Oh, I chirped. Then it hit me. The green stem on my vitric heart. It was similar to some parts of the plant she tended to. She continued checking each plant, sometimes even lifting their leaves with the gentle touch of her finger. Mrs. Little is the woman at the register, she explained before cheerfully turning away from her business to smile at me. Anyway, what can I help you with, Argyle? She looked at me so expectantly that all I could manage to say was, but she was so forgiving my monosyllable with the simple blinking of her eyes. I'd like something to plant, I said matter-of-factly. Oh, are you starting a garden? I accidentally nodded, using my whole entire body, more so bowing than nodding. What kind? I'd like to start simple, I said. Maybe plant a flower and see if I'm a good plant dad. She chuckled, though her manners forbade it after a couple of gleeful spurts of sound. She turned around. What kind of flower? I pointed, though her back was to me again. I like that one there, I said. The pink one? The rosebay? Yes, that one, I said just because. She picked the pot off of the shelf and turned around. The Nerium oleander, or just rosebay, she explained, unaware of the shipwreck of my brow. It's been all along the world in so many gardens for so long that we don't even know where it comes from. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I moped. Very interesting. It's poisonous, she whispered. Then her voice returned. But it doesn't taste good either. The flower was pretty, though, I heard myself speak, almost as if I was apologizing. I reached forward and held the silk of one of its flowers in my fingers. It was more delicate than a curtain. Was? I was quick to reply. Is. Sorry. Where are you going to plant it? She asked. And she asked so politely that I wished I could have told her that I was going to plant it in Eden, but I only had one place in mind. I felt a smile of my own appear because finally Mary was getting the truth from me. I know a place, I began. The most quiet, serene, greenest place in Massachusetts. You can wear anything you want when you go there. Nobody's there to judge you. There's no buildings, no houses. There's statues, all with sleepy faces. And this place has the freshest smell of grass you'd ever smell. I think she was about to giggle, but what she did was croak. Really? There's a turtle pond, too. Where is it? Then she readjusted. Can I come with you when you go to plant it? I took a considerate breath and looked down at the flower pot in my hands. I have to plant this by myself, alone. I looked up from the flower. Mary was very good at veiling her disappointment, but her previous exultation of really betrayed any attempt she could have made at masking the opposite of happiness. I'll tell you what, though, I said. Once I plant it, which I'll plant today, I'll tell you where I planted it, and you can go and try to find the flower. I stopped talking just to marvel at the way her features brightened. I explained furthermore. And if you find it, then I stopped myself. I'll tell you all about me. I'll let you know the truth. Her happiness faltered. Truth? She asked before her merry curiosity reestablished itself. Argyle, you're being very ambiguous. Even her confusion was marvelous, and it made me sad. With a guilty conscience probably souring my expression, I looked down at the flower pot again and said, "You have a good heart, Mary Keats." "How can you know that?" she queried, more curious than worried. I've seen a lot of heartlessness in the world, and you're not it. It doesn't take much to see it." Then I chuckled. "Who spends their evenings sweeping up a church?" "There's a lot of dusty churches in America," Mary insisted. "No, it's not just that. I'm sorry." I kept my gaze down on the Nerium oleander as if it was a magical flower that could translate what I was really trying to say. "It's in your very countenance, in the way you cross St. Anne's lawn, even in the way you pick the flowers up. You're too good for this world, Mary Keats." She gave a slight chuckle. "I wish you wouldn't say my name like that." "I'll go plant this afternoon. Do you work tomorrow?" "Yes, I'll be here from noon to 6. "When's the least busiest time of day?" I asked, to which she said a little mischievously, "Noon." "I'll come at noon tomorrow then, and tell you where it's planted, and then I'll leave." "And I'll have to find it," she said aloud, committing some game to memory. "Yes." "And if I find it, you tell me about you? Why?" "Because I'm not like you, Mary Keats." She chuckled in a moment of humane defense on my part. "Argyle," as if her own timid laugh protected me from myself. A woman came into the greenhouse, beginning to peruse the flowers, and I took this as a sign to step back, so I did, walking into the flower shop and buying the single pot with the Nerium oleander flower, which was one thick stem that yielded 3 pink flowers and 1 cone bulb not yet ready to blossom. I walked out, took my new flower into my car, and drove to Pine Grove Cemetery, avoiding potholes along the way. I took my car through the gateway which I had crawled through a couple of months ago when I went to bury my heart. Driving through Pine Grove Cemetery can be called smooth sailing, as all it took was taking a couple of turns at just barely 10 miles per hour. I parked and got out, carrying the flower pot and a water bottle that was half full, and started making my way to the lonely oak tree that oversaw one section of tombstones. Some of the oak's roots stuck out in the earth like parts of a rib cage, corrupted by the hole that had been there for a few months. I came to my knees, deepened the hole a little further so that the Nerium could fit, and brought the soil body carefully, very carefully, down into the earth, scooping dirt back into the space that remained between the soil cylindrical body and the hole. Once I had patted down the soil, I poured a little water around the soil, creating a wet ring around the Nerium's main stem. Then I stood up, turned, and squinted at the sun as if to hope the flower would get enough sunlight. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. This little thing had an oak tree to contend with after all. "Wait," I muttered to myself, adjusting my footing. I looked down at the few pink flowers and realized I wouldn't be able to bury my heart again. Why did this horrify me? I called Dr. Tempest when I got back into my car, Pine Grove as unassuming as the cemetery from Night of the Living Dead. "Yellow? Hey, Dr. Tempest? Is this Argyle?" "Yes, it is," I affirmed. "Are you busy? I just have a question." "I'm in surgery. You're on speaker. Don't worry, ask away." I hesitated. "When do you think I'll get a match?" "Believe me, Argyle, I'm vouching for you, but there is a kind of hierarchy to this thing, a list of emergencies. Everything's okay, right?" "Yes," I said, not sure if I was lying or not. "I'm just a little anxious." "Would you like to meet with me again? I can probably ease your mind a little, Argyle." No, you're probably very busy." "Well, you're in good luck because you are my business." Then he broke into a demonic chuckle, going, "Mankind was my business," before muttering, "Forceps." He paused, muttering thoughtfully, "All right, beginning to search the pulmonary valve." His voice returned to normal. "What day works for you, Argyle?" Call me when you're out of surgery. My schedule's kind of opened up. How's Wednesday at 10 in the morning? I'll pick you up and we'll get some coffee. On me." "Sure," I said while looking at the flower I had planted, so small in the distance, but distinct like a star that wanted so much to exist, that wanted so much for its light to reach someone on earth. "All right, Argyle. Dr. Cibola will give me your address. I'll pick you up then." "See you then." I said before one of his fellow surgeons hung up for him. Wait, I murmured again while looking at the flower. Briefly, I thought about never seeing Mary Keats again. I thought about avoiding her just so she could never find the flower I planted. Then nobody would know about it. It would be my secret. I'd be the only living thing to ever know who planted it and where. My flower. I didn't have a heart inside me, but I had this flower. And maybe I could let it be solitary forever. I could keep its petals from being plucked, keep it from being picked, keep it from inquiring noses. I could keep it forever, and it would be mine, my flower. The deep breath I took was something akin to a final breath, and I was astonished that I was still alive, and astonished that the flower was still there, existing. Looking back on it, this desire to keep the flower secret was probably the most heartless desire that I had ever had, and will ever have, to keep it from the world, to keep it from the faithful and saintly creature of Mary Keats. I think this desire came out of a place of fear, maybe selfishness. And sitting in my car while looking out at the little pink siblings like a constellation of pink stars afraid to blossom, I realized that this was the fear that controlled people like Aurora Oleander. I was heartless, yes, but I did not want that to make me fearful. I thought about my picture on the fridge. I'm sure you know the one I mean by now. I visualized it even as my eyes beheld the Nereids, the way they cowered like flamingo stars too scared to shine. I drove away before a tear could come. Thus ends Chapter 14 of The Hearts of Argyle Godfrey by Nicholas Leonard.